Look at that flapper. Right? It's just rad. The classic roadside burger is what gave LA its burger identity. But in my book, we don't give enough credit to the patty melt. The crunch from the toasted rye and the sweetness of the caramelized onions makes it one of the most delicious and underrated burgers. Today I'm going on a patty melt tour, and I'm teaming up with the undisputed champ of patty melts, Chef Christian Page, to see the best of what LA has to offer. I love burgers, but I equally love patty melts just the same. Yeah. You know, to me, it's like, it's a burger.
They're both our children. You gotta love them the same.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So what is it about the patty melt that you love?
When you get that outside toast on the bun, the bread, and then you have the soft inside, you know? I like to see the inside.
Oh, yeah,
I like to see the meat and the temperature that the meat is cooked, and see like a beautiful grind when you have some rare on the inside and you have some crispy meat on the outside. To me, I look at that, that's what makes the patty melt so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly, and that's like, we eat with our eyes first, right? And like that's the whole thing.
Makes me hungry, bro.
Yeah, especially when it's cut on a bias and it has that perfect point. Yeah. There's something about that like move when you eat it that just like sets it off for me. What about bread? Does it have to be rye?
You need like a bread that has some good structure to it.
Right.
Because when you spread whatever you're gonna spread on it, you know, or brush on it, whether it's clarified or it's the mayo, like you got the onions, you got the cheese, you got the butter on one side. You know, you need bread that has some structure. Patty melts and tuna melts and turkey melts, that's the food of the diners, you know? And so that's why today we're at one of the most classic diners, iconic diners in Los Angeles, Dupar's. Biff Naylor, who's the owner of Dupar's, is kind of patty melt royalty.
Oh, word.
We gotta try some of these.
Yeah, man, let's eat.
Let's eat.
Oh,
there
baby.
it comes.
Oh, baby.
There you go. There it comes.
Thank you, sir. Biff, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I hear you are patty melt royalty.
Well, I don't know.
I've been telling stories about you.
There is a little bit of a legacy to this. It goes all the way back to 1924 in Pasadena.
Okay.
At a place called the Right Spot Cafe. And a young fellow by the name of Lionel Sternberger was working there for his father. And he actually burned one side of the hamburger patty. So he put a piece of cheese on it to cover it up, sent it out to the customer who loved it. And that was the first cheeseburger. And Lionel Sternberger and my dad were good friends. My dad's name was Tiny Naylor. He was 6'3", 320 pounds, so his nickname was Tiny. My dad took that cheeseburger, put some grilled onions on that, and then he grilled bread, so it was sourdough bread originally. Years later, when he moved down to Southern California after World War II, the patty melt then served on rye bread down here. He was a pioneer in the restaurant business here in California, and that's why we honor him with this on the menu, calling it Tiny's Patty Melt as the originator and a great restaurateur. We grind this meat fresh every day. We just use choice chuck. We grind it coarse the first time and medium the second time because it's much chewier and juicier. And
I know you're a busy man, but before we dig in and I let you go do your thing, is this a burger or is it a sandwich?
No, it's a patty melt.
It's in a league of its own. This is what we've been talking about all day. Let's just have at it and see what's really good.
All right. There is a nice coarse grind to the meat. I like when you're grilling the onions and you get that little bit of char on them too.
Right.
Gives a little more depth.
Classic is Swiss, right? Like I like to use two different kinds of cheeses. I throw American in there just for like the feel.
Melty.
Swiss has that like nice sweetness. It complements the onion.
Yes, definitely.
So I have a good friend of mine who judges a diner by how good their patty melt is. Do you have a type of gauge like that?
Whether it's their burger or their patty melt, yes. But I think the patty melt is probably a better indicator.
Right.
Because you're basically seeing all of the short order cook skills rolled into one dish. You got the fries. Right. You got the crispy plancha grilled bread. You got the meat, how they cook the meat, and then you got their mise en place, how they did the onions.
Yeah, it's a great scale on how
it's a great scale.
Yeah, how everything else will be in the restaurant.
Yeah.
This patty melt carries the DNA of the original patty melt.
Big up Tiny Naylor.
Tiny Naylor, man. So we've had the historic patty melt, but you're known for like the baddest patty melt in the city right now. So I can't wait to go over to your spot and try it out.
Let's go check it out.
Yo, chef, we're here at Cassell's. I've seen this all over my feed. I've heard David Chang calling this like the best thing he's ever eaten. I think he nominated you for like Pellegrino's like top 50 in the world. Like, how did that happen?
I don't know how it happened, but I tell you, we've been buying a lot more rye bread ever since it did happen.
I bet. Before we dig in, you took over this legendary burger brand.
You know, Cassell's has been in what's now Koreatown since 1948. Al Cassell got very well known and well written about in food press from basically, you know, having a product that was, you know, very craft driven. He ground his own meat, as we still do today. We bought it about 5 years ago. We moved it a couple blocks down the street. Al Cassell, rest in peace. We try to keep his spirit alive in everything that we do.
Tell me step by step how this thing gets done.
First, you're cooking your patty, and it's like coarse grind, so you get that steaky or chew to your meat. So you're searing your patty beautifully. You got your bread brushed with clarified bluegrass butter. So you're crisping that up, and the cheese goes on, and you're overlapping slices until it's hanging off the edges a bit. Then as it melts, it hits the grill and starts to crisp up. Throw your scoop of onions on once your bread's ready.
Right.
Put the whole thing together, and then we're always about sauce on the side here. So if you just want to go pure and no sauce, you can. I like dipping better anyways.
Yeah.
I can control all the sauce per bite.
Right.
The crispy cheese was like one of those lucky mistakes. I'm always like very specific about putting the cheese on a sandwich so it goes all the way to the edges of the
so
sandwich.
it's on every bite.
Yeah, and I think my sous chef was like, ugh, and like putting it on because I kept telling him time and again, like it's gotta go on every side. So he just threw it at the thing, so there's cheese all over it, and it melted onto the sides and got crispy.
Right.
I was like, oh, I like that. We'll do it like that.
Enough talk. You know, I can't wait to dig into this. Look at that flapper. Right? It's just rad. Comparing it to Dupars, the thickness of the bread is thicker, so it absorbs it more. The onions are low and slow, super sweet. There's that Swiss cheese frico chip. Right there. Whoa. Dude, that tastes like cheese chicharron.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Exactly.
And you have one of those, like, the Maserati of griddles, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a griddle underneath a griddle.
The Crossfire broiler. So that was from a San Francisco broiler restaurant. It got brought in like the 50s to increase its throughput time.
Right.
So you essentially have two drawers. They move up and down. There's a flame across the top. There's flames underneath.
Right.
So you're always heating it from both sides.
Not only is it pretty,
Yeah.
but it's fucking powerful as
Great.
shit. Yeah. We went to Dupars, learned the history of it, came to your joint all together. This is probably the best patty melt I've ever had in my life.
Thank you.
Dude, it's delicious. I've had a lot of burgers on this show,
Yeah.
but you know what? Like, all those aside, there's definitely room for the patty melt, and it holds its weight, dude. Like, it is a burger, and it's a fantastic one at that. And you know, I commend you for just making such an amazing product, man.
Well, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure to go through it with you.
I'm gonna eat the rest of this.
Me too. I'm just waiting. Cut.
I might call your spot pumping if you got crushed ice in a styrofoam cup with the refill right. So homie, word of your mouth until the next Philippe show. I'm out on the streets looking for something to eat. Like,
What's up, guys? Alvin for the Burger Show. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. If not for me, for the burgers, please, and thank you.